In this lesson, we're going to learn about probability and odds. Example 1, how do I list outcomes? First of all, an outcome is a possible result. An event is defined as an outcome or a collection of outcomes, and a sample space is defined as the set of all possible outcomes. So list the outcomes in the sample space using the table. You roll a pair of dice, list all the possible outcomes. So first of all, you could roll you've got the two dice, you could roll a 1 and a 1. You could roll a 1 and a 2, a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 4, a 1 and a 5, and a 1 and a 6. And then we could go to our 2s, where I'd have the 2 and the 1, a 2 and a 2, a 2 and a 3, a 2 and a 4, a 2 and a 5, and then a 2 and a 6. All right, so I'm going to pause this. I'm going to finish this table, and you do the same. All right, so hopefully your table looks like this, where we've listed all the different outcomes. So now let's find out then how many do we have total, and then we would have 6 and 6. So there were a total of 36 outcomes. All right, so list the outcomes in the sample space using a tree diagram. You roll a number cube, then you toss a coin and spin a spinner with 3 equal sections labeled A, B, and C. All right, so our first outcome that we could get then in rolling that dice is I would be able to get a 1, I could get a 2, I could get a 3, I could get a 4, I could get a 5, and then I could get a 6. Now, if I had gotten a 1, I could also then, in my next event, I could then toss and I could get a heads or I could get a tails. And I could do that for the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we could then get a heads or a tails. And there we go. So now our next event then is that we would then, we're going to spin the spinner with 3 equal sections. All right, so maybe I got a 1 and then I got a heads. Well, then I could have an A, a B, or a C from the spinner. And I would have that then here with the tails, the A, the B, and the C. So I'm going to pause this, I'm going to finish, and then you do the same. All right, so now we have all of our outcomes have been listed, and so then we need to count them up, and then that would then tell us the number of outcomes we could have by rolling the number cube, then tossing the coin, and spinning the spinner. And in counting all of these up then, I would have then 36 total outcomes. All right, example number 2, how do I find the probability of an event? So the probability of an event is the measure of the likelihood or the chance the event is going to happen. So one way that we can measure probability is by looking at things on the scale of 0 to 1, where 0 would be impossible and 1 would be certain. So it's kind of on that scale between those. So what would be the probability of rolling a dice and getting a 0? Well, on a dice we have 1 through 6, so the probability of getting a 0 would be impossible, which then would be the scale of 0. All right, the second one, going to a lake in Minnesota. Well, there are lakes all over Minnesota, so for the likelihood of you being able to go to a lake in Minnesota would be almost 100%. So I'm going to put a 1 there. Maybe it'd be 0.75, but I'm feeling better about giving that a certainty. Number 3. It will snow in Minnesota in May. Well, it's not impossible that it would snow in May, but it has happened. So the likelihood, I'd probably go somewhere like right here at that 0.25. So it's unlikely, but it could happen. And number 4, my dog is a boy. Well, you have the equal the equal chance that your dog is going to be a boy as a girl. So then that would be here. It's equally as much of a chance that the dog is going to be a boy that it is going to be a girl. All right, example number 3. How do I find theoretical and experimental probability? All right, well, the difference between theoretical probability and experimental probability is the theoretical probability is the chance that something will happen. So if I had like a number cube or a dice, what is the chances of getting and rolling a 6? Well, I have a 1 in 6 chance. So that would be the theoretical probability. Now, the experimental probability, that's based on the results of an experiment. So let's say that you go and you roll your dice a bunch of times and the number 6 comes up 12 times out of 50 times that you rolled it. Well, then the experimental probability would be the 12 all over 50. So let's take a look at our spinner that we have here. And it says, what is the probability that the spinner stops on an odd? All right, so in odd numbers, let's take a look. Let's find, we've got a 1, we have a 5, a 3, and 11. All those are odd. So you have a 4 out of 8 chance that your probability is going to be of spinning an odd. Is 4 out of 8, you can change that to 1/2. You can express these as decimals, or you can also express them as percentages. Fractions, decimals, or percentages are all ways in which you can express probability. So now, what is the probability that the spinner stops on a multiple of 3? So let's find the multiples of 3. All right, so here's a multiple of 3, here's a multiple of 3, and here's a multiple of 3. And I think that's it. So we have 3 numbers on our spinner that are multiples of 3, and so our chance of it being a multiple of 3 would be 3 out of, then we had a total of 8, total number of outcomes is going to be the answer for that. So now we have the next question where it says, if you spin 60 times and get the following results, so this is what's in the chart there for us, what is the experimental probability of getting a number that is greater than 6? So it can't be equal to 6, but greater than 6. So all of these numbers right here are going to be the numbers that are greater than 6. So the frequency is right here. This is how many times it landed on an 8. This is how many times it landed on an 11, a 12, and a 10. So we're going to add those up. And when I add them up, I get a total of 29 all over 60 because, so the experimental probability of getting a number that was greater than 6 was 29 out of 60. And for our last question, it says if you spin 40 times and get a prime number 17 times, how does the experimental probability of getting a prime number compare to the theoretical probability of getting a prime number? So our experimental probability was 17 out of 40. And let's turn this now into a percentage so that we can compare them accurately. And I would have 42.5% of the time I spun the spinner and got a prime number. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the theoretical probability so we can compare it to it. So let's look for our prime numbers. And our prime numbers, I'll highlight those in green. Our prime numbers are the numbers that 1 in itself can go into. So we have a 3, and we have an 11, we have a 5, and we have a 1. All right, so those are all prime numbers. And so let's go ahead then, and we have 4 then out of 8. So we have a 4 out of 8, which then we know is going to be 50%. Now let's compare these and kind of talk about this. So you would expect each to land on a prime number 4 out of 8 times, which is 50% of the time. But when we did the experiment, it didn't exactly get to be 40 to 50%. It was 42.5%. And so the experimental and the theoretical probabilities aren't always going to be the same, but they can be pretty close. And especially if you do the experiment over and over and over again, the more times you do that experiment, the closer that experimental probability is going to be to that theoretical probability. All right, so how do I find the odds? Well, odds is defined as the ratio, so it's a fraction, of the number of ways something can occur to the number of ways it cannot occur. So if we look at this first one, it says, what are the odds in favor of spinning stripes? So notice I have two of these are stripes. So I have 2, and then there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's a 2 to 6 chance that in odds of spinning a stripe. So we could also simplify that down to 1 to 3. So then what are the odds in favor of spinning hearts? Well, our hearts, here's our hearts right here. And so we have just 1 there. So we have a 1 chance of getting the hearts, and then I have a chance of getting something else other than hearts would be then 7, a 1 to 7 chance. And what are the odds of spinning the stars? So our stars, here's our stars. We have 2 stars. Oh, I'm sorry, and this says against the stars. So against the stars, we have then 6 that are not stars, but then we have 2 stars. So 6 to 2 or 3 to 1. And then our last one, what are the odds against spinning the cats? Well, I've got 3 cats. So then that means that I would have a total of 5 then all over 3. So I have a chance of 5 of getting something else other than cats, and then I have a chance of 3 to getting the cats. So in this lesson, we took a look at how to find the probability of an event and how to find the odds.